Peace, everybody. This month, May 2022, we produced Until Forever, a book featuring photos, bios, ideas, and stories from Charlie the Hustler, Hurt, Bat, Ola, Lady Pink, Chino BYI, Nove York, Mike Giant, Arab GSB, Dr. Dax, Sean Crawford, Peter Sutherland, Ray Capo, Kalal Money, Jess TVT, Andrew Barnes, and KR. The cover of the book features a photo from Nove's personal archives, and the book is available exclusively through our Patreon and comes with limited Crink K71s. We're going to be shipping the book out to our Patreon members, and the book is available only for the month of May. We're going to be using our Patreon funds to run a food and goods drive at Tompkins Square Park. With the help of Arc'teryx's Flatiron store in New York and Snow Peak, we're going to be cooking and handing out hundreds of meals, clothes, and goods to the community of downtown New York, as well as doing a park cleanup at Tompkins Square Park, picking up trash all around the park. We have new Patreon-only episodes out with Sabe KST and Diego127. We have a lower-tier membership that gives you access to our entire members-only episode library, featuring interviews from Dessa MTA, Mike Iraq, Sabe KST, Diego127, Cash 4, XSM, Host 18, Wayne COD, Dual Risk, Sake, and less. Members also gain access to AZ Radio, conversations of Z and I speaking on life, mental health, graffiti, books, martial arts, and more. Immense thank you, as always, to everybody who supports the show in any way and helps us run our food drives, help out writers, help out artists, or donate to charities. Feel free to message us if you want to pull up to the food drive. The link to our Patreon is in this episode's description. On another note, if you want to get clothes made, do it through Classy Screens. They're a small business that's been working in the industry in our community for years. They've worked with graffiti writers like Claw Money, Noxer, and UFO 907, legendary LES artist Clayton Patterson, New York's first skate company, Shut, and one of the best graffiti shops to have come out of New York, Paradise Plus. They're the best of the best, fast work, quality outcomes with the latest tech for printing designs. They've been supporting us since we started and donated lots of clothes for the food and jacket drive that we had at Tompkins Square Park. Good people. All the clothes we've made was through them, and we're just blessed to get support from a company that's been doing it locally in New York with the best people out. The link to their website and Instagram is in this episode's description. Follow them, show them some love. Like I said, they're really good people. Immense gratitude, as always, to everybody who's blessed us with a listen or support of any kind. Dude, thanks for coming on the show, for real, man.
For sure.
Super hyped it's happening. So what's your deal with graffiti? You talked about in some interviews in the past that like you've had some involvement in it. You had friends that did it growing up, going to Boston and New York, seeing it, and like the Zoo crew and all that. Yeah. So what's your deal with it?
Basically kind of started like before Zoo, just fucking around at the skate park, can of paint, messing around, and then skating for Zoo was definitely like more of a eye opener and like kind of understanding it more and getting a little character. The dude Stay High would always come through, and I remember doing like a little stick figure, middle finger guy, like for his little smoker character, and just messing around. And then over the years, just kind of meeting other people and traveling and seeing like the same dudes all over the world, like got me pretty hyped. Like realizing that there's spots and fucking just seeing it everywhere really, really intrigued me. And it's fucking dope.
Did you try to go into like a letter-based like style writing at any point, or?
Kind of just like more New York style. I just been fucking around. I'm not, good. It's just fun and like it's super fun,
Yeah. No, because growing up, like being into graffiti, I didn't know how many graffiti writers were involved in skateboarding. So like as I got older, I realized this, and like it's pretty crazy how connected those two worlds are. So like if you're really into skateboarding, you know a lot of graffiti writers and vice versa. Especially in like New York City, like the scene is so tight that you just know everybody in a way.
I think it's a similar mind frame of you it's like looking for spots, and it's somewhat destructive, and it's kind of like middle fingers, like we're gonna do what we want type shit, and it's cool. I'm into it.
It's like New York. They have like roots in graffiti. And like at the time period when you were writing for them, did you gain interest in that? Did you were like looking into the history of that?
Because the name New York came from like the Soul Artist was like a graffiti crew, and then I think the skaters like Rodney Smith and Eli Gesner and some of the original Zoo dudes were like skating around those guys and kind of just came up with the Zoo York name for the skate company. And definitely like people would always come by. the old office in 13th Street. And yeah, it got me interested, and yeah, slowly been fucking around and meeting people and just talking shit, and really respect it. It's cool.
I went into a skate shop a while ago, years ago, and I saw a Zoo York board before I had any idea of like their history or anything like that. And there was it was just a throwy on a gate. Yeah. And I was like, what the fuck? That's the cool, because I was into graph, but I didn't know that Zoo York had any history in it and stuff. Yeah. So how did that transition into like? Do you still do paper skaters? Like, what's up? With that?
Do. It's fucking tough because it's like the printer I use is always like I'll stop using it. It gets jammed up. I gotta fix it. It's not like I can just grab a can of paint and like make shit. It's like I gotta shoot the photos. I gotta like go through the background computer shit, print it out, find the spot for it, paste it. It's like a lot that goes into it. So right now I'm actually looking for a new apartment. So I'm kind of trying to get everything back together, printer and the whole setup going, and definitely want to. Cause I don't know. I didn't even really scratch the surface. There's so much shit I want to do, and like, it's fun. It gives me that same feeling like graffiti, but it's actually like I can go further with it. It's like it feels the same though.
What do you mean by you didn't scratch the surface yet?
Just ideas I have for like pasting shit, different perspective, like just weird kind of tripped out ideas and stuff. So like that.
How did it go from like kind of being interested in graffiti and dabbling in it into deciding like that you're gonna do the paper skaters thing, and more than just that, but like keeping it anonymous?
Well, at first it was like, I'd be doing the graffiti shit. Definitely got arrested a handful of times and like stopped drinking for a few years, and then I think that was kind of when I was like, I miss like writing and shit. I was still dabbling a little bit here and there, but I like missed that feeling. And then I was kind of smoking a lot of weed at the time, walking around the neighborhood, seeing a bunch of wheat paste shit, and just kind of like, there's some cool shit, but a lot of just repetitive, like just kind of corny shit. And I'm super into photography, so I kind of just put the two together and was like, dude, came up with all these ideas. I was like, I got to fucking do this. Like, got a photo of my buddy John Newport and, like, went to Kinko's and had it and, like, did it under the BQE. Was, like, my first one. I was, like, super hyped, like, fucking. And then took a photo of it. I'm just looking at it. I'm like, fuck, this shit's, like, I'm into this shit. I just got that feeling that's kind of hard to get. And, yeah, since then, I've been hyped on it. It's just, I got to get going again. It's, like, been kind of killing me not doing it.
Yeah, because I went on the Paper Skaters Instagram. I think the last post was
like 2 years ago,
2020.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe he got bagged wicked hard and was over it.
No, I just the printer. It's a lot goes into it. It's not like you can just like go do it. It's like a lot of prep work and like finding. So I'll print shit out and then I'll bring them on trips, like skate trips. I'll shoot more photos while I'm on the skate trips. But then once they're printed, it's kind of like you got to find the spot that the image fits right. So it's like I'm looking for skate spots and then I'm looking for shit to paste and my head's like going nuts. I'm shooting photos. It was like kind of getting to be a bit too much to do everything at once. And it's just a lot goes into it and it takes a lot of time and been slowed down by the printer and shit.
Yeah, it's actually really sick, honestly, like what you do with it, because I look at it as like graffiti, there's thousands of writers, like especially in New York City, you know what I mean? So like in order to stand out, you have to kind of like develop your own sort of style, or you have to like really like go above the standards on like a spot or like other writers' styles and stuff like that. So, and with wheat pasting is essentially kind of like repetitive advertising in a way.
Yeah.
So like I love that you like found like a medium ground where like it's a mix of both. And like I said, to stand out, you need to have your own style. And with that stuff, like when someone sees that, like no one's really doing that kind of stuff. So like they'll be like, you know what I mean? Like people catch on to things that stand out. You know what I mean? In the mix of like so much other stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's weird. I think just like skate mentality, it's like you want to do tricks that have never been done. And then it's like when you bring like that mentality just kind of goes to other, hobbies or fucking whatever else you're into. And it definitely is frustrating and it's whatever. But yeah, I definitely was like kind of looking at everything and I was like, fuck, no one's really like, it's definitely on some Banksy shit, like, and it's using a lot of dudes do similar shit, but just the skate shit, my skate brain, I was like, fuck, no one's really done this. Like,
I can imagine like the process that goes into it. Because a lot of graffiti writers, they'll be lazy and they'll be like, yo, if it involves like a roller or more stuff in prep time, I'm over it.
Ladder,
which is why there's less people who do that shit.
Yeah.
But just people who do throwies and tags, which is fine too.
Yeah.
But it's like for wheat pasting, particularly the type that you're doing, where it's like full on images, and you're trying to represent your work, like in a good manner, like the photos that you took. It's like it's going to be a whole thing.
Yep.
And you can't just like with spray paint like make it fit. No, this like straight up has to fit there.
Yeah, exactly.
It's made for the one spot.
And it's like I've done like some and they're like a tiny bit off and it just drives me nuts. Like it's got to be right. Like it trips me out. I'm like, fuck.
So what was your experience getting arrested for graffiti and weed pasting or chased or whatever?
I mean, just stupid shit, kind of mostly drunk shit. One time in LA, I was in this fucking, at this spot, climbing this fence, I caught a tag. They must have been following me. There's like 4 different cruisers pull up. I'm in the back of this like alley behind the hotel I was actually staying at. Dude, like the maintenance dude comes out and like, we don't want to press charges. So I'm like, all right, good. I'm good. And then the cops are like fucking around in the trunk of the car and I'm like handcuffed. I like look back. I'm like you fucking turn around again, we're going to fuck you up. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. They come up with fucking a bag like this big with like this little bit of white shit. And they're like, cocaine, narcotics, you're coming in. I'm like, all right, man, whatever. Had a coke charge like planted on me. Had to go back with a lawyer. It was a whole fucking mess.
They
like,
planted it on you?
Yeah, because the dude didn't want to press charges. So they were like, we're going to get this dude in for the night because he's fucking wasted and he's being an idiot.
When that happened, did you say anything to them? Like, yo, that wasn't in my car.
Yeah, of course. I was on foot. I was like, I mean, you obviously know it's not mine. Like, they were
But to them, that's probably like a commitment. If they're like ready to do
they just
that,
wanted me to go in for the
like,
night. And they kept asking me, like, are you drunk? I'm like, yeah, I'm wasted. Like, just trying to play, like, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just being an idiot. And they're like, yeah, it was fucked. Like, that was probably one of the stupidest things.
Did anything come of that?
No, they dropped the case. And then ended up going to Tampa Pro like the next day and like qualifying first. Got the golden ticket. It was like the best I've ever done in the contest. I think I was just like so hyped, like, because I was stressing. I'm like, dude, I got like a fucking coke charge. Like, this is fucked. But yeah, that was a pretty shitty one. Recently, we were on an Alzheimer's trip in Greece, and there was a pro party for the kid Will Marshall, and we're all in this like little kind of sketchy neighborhood. Watch his video part, and we're like surprising with the boards, and we're all, you know, like pouring beer and just like, hell yeah, like you're pro, da da da. And then all the local kids started like wiling out, just kind of copying us, and it kind of like escalated outside. Fucking these 2 cops on cop bikes. There's like 2 cops on each bike, like kept just circling the block. And these kids are just fucking throwing glass bottles at the cops and shit. And like it started getting crazy. So me and 2 of my buddies like, yo, let's go out. And we were going to go paint. We had like all bags full of paint. And I'm like, let's just wait till we get off the block before we paint. These dudes are going in circles around the block. Get to the back side of the block. Cops pull up. Fuck it. What are you guys doing? Like, were you at the party? You skate? We're like, no. Fucking bring us in, like, try to have us sign this paper. I'm like, don't fucking sign anything. Finally get to the courtroom the next day. We have, like, a translator, and they start reading the paper that we were going to, like, agree to. Yeah. And it's like, saw 3 kids spray painting, chased them for 15 minutes. They fought back. We fought them for 20 minutes, like, all this shit. Yeah. We get proven innocent. We get back out of the courtroom, and they fucking handcuff us all back together. Like, grab me by the neck, throw me back in the car. We're all handcuffed together. And they're just speaking Greek. And they're fucking, like, laughing, like, pretending they're going to fucking hit us and throw our papers out the window, driving all fucking crazy. Get back to the precinct. They throw us back into the fucking cell. And I didn't think I was getting out of there. That was probably the worst one. That was way worse than LA.
No, it was recently.
No, that was pretty recently, yeah. That was like a year ago.
I've been thinking, like, what's up with graffiti in Greece? Because I just went there recently, last month. Yeah. I was more northern, like this town called Thessaloniki. And, yo, there's graffiti everywhere. It's everywhere. But to the point where, like, you know, like in New York, it kind of fits the aesthetic of, like, New York. But there it completely makes it look like a shithole in a way.
Yeah.
And it's like crime kind of graffiti. That's what it makes it look like.
Definitely.
And the way the streets and the people are just like so rowdy. So like it's sick to hear like the altercation with the cops, because I was like, yo, do people do this shit in broad daylight? Because it's literally everywhere. It almost looks legal.
Mm-hmm. You know? Well, there is like an anarchy zone where it is legal. In most places, it's like they don't care. It's like everywhere.
Yeah.
But so when you get into these situations, whether it be weed pasting or doing whatever, painting, and you find yourself, like, let's say in a holding cell, just waiting to, you know, go through the process, go through the system, do you ever think to yourself, like, well, because even writers will be like, that was so not worth it, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah. Whereas you, as a pro skateboarder, you're going to be like, really, what am I doing? Like,
yeah.
Do you ever think that?
Yeah, for sure. And then the feeling goes away, and then the feeling comes that you want to just keep doing it, you know?
Yeah. So there's, now that you're haven't been doing paper skaters as much, what do you use to fill that void of this like this thing that you're pursuing?
I'll still do shit like on the iPad. I'll still do, come up with random, kind of like Photoshop type of things. Skate more, like, try to just get it out skating. Fucking doodle on paper, write down ideas for when I get my printer and everything set up, stuff like that.
So it's like how big is the printer?
It's like, it prints 44 inches wide. So then it's like an extra foot. It looks like a tanning bed. It's fucking huge.
How did you learn all this stuff?
Just fucking YouTube and just, yeah. I got it pretty cheap off Craigslist, and then, I just started fucking around YouTube, and I got it cheap because one of the ink lines, because they run, like, the ink head goes the whole length of the thing, so the ink lines go the whole length as well. So when you don't use it, it dries up. So the dude was, like, printing for a professional photographer dude, and the color yellow wasn't working. So I got it super cheap. I was like, oh, just do black and white or whatever. And ended up figuring out how to clean it and got it cleaned, and now it's just so clogged. I got to, like, get somebody that knows what they're doing.
So when you started it, you didn't want people really knowing that it was you, which is, I think, pretty respectable, because you can take the route of, like, oh, it's like Zered does it.
Yeah.
It's immediately valid. But then if no one knows who does it, like, if they really like it, it's because they really like it.
Yeah.
When did you decide to change your mind on that and just let it out?
There was I was able to do like an interview with Juxtapose, but they wanted me to put my name on it. So I was like, all right, I already feel like I kept my name off it long enough. People are into it, like, not because my name's attached to it. And then it's kind of felt like I'd be holding myself back if I kind of didn't just be like, I'm doing this, whatever,
Yeah, yeah. And then, so then that was just like the drawing line.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because in graph, there's like those things too. There's like writers who will just straight up show their face after mad long of not showing their face.
Yeah.
And it always like bugs me out. Like, what is it that, like, that did it for them?
I feel like for me, it was just more opportunities. It's like, do I want to stay like hidden? And like, it's like, I'm not like going for that. Like, the reason I did it was like exactly what you said. Just kind of like, I wanted people to see it for what it was, and like, not just be like, oh, that's sick. Like, you know what I mean? That's originally why I did it.
And out of all the places that you've done it at, you've done it like in Paris, South Korea, New York, obviously, just all over the place. Are there any places that stand out to you?
Like, that I've been to, or like...
Well, that you've been to and that you've done like wheat pasting or painting or even skating at.
Yeah, I mean, just cities like New York is awesome. I don't do nearly as much here, I guess because I live here, and I don't know why. But just cities like look the best. It fits in. It looks natural, and it's kind of trippy. You walk by, like, it kind of blends in a good way.
I feel like when you go to a different country, you feel like you're in a different country. Yeah. And you feel like there's like no rule. The rules like don't apply to you as much.
Until they do. It's like fucking everything's great, and then you're like, fuck. Like, Greece was definitely an eye opener. Like, they can do whatever they want to you. Like, they're throwing us in the cell, like, Americans, and that's when like Trump shit was going crazy, and I was just like, this is not fucking good.
Yeah, and
this is not good.
You gotta be careful where like you travel to because the cops can literally bribe you, like kidnap you and like ask for money, literally like drive you to your hotel room and be like, we're waiting downstairs, you better come back down with like $200 fucking dollars or something, otherwise. And you're like, it opens your eyes because like you said, like you go to a different country and you're like, I'll just chill here for 3 days, do whatever I want, and when I leave, the slate was clean. It's funny how that works.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna like change the topics and like go into like skateboarding a little bit and your ups and downs that you've had throughout that. Some of them are like public, some of them are not as public, but it's just like of course skating has given you so much. It's like made a whole life for you, introduced you to a lot of friends. Also like come with its issues, going like sponsors on and off or drinking. And one of the things that stuck to me is that you were talking about how you started drinking at 14, and then at 15 you were already like traveling the world and skating and doing all this stuff. So a lot of skaters at a really young age, they start drinking or they start just doing whatever. It's kind of like a fun, like more carefree existence. What can you say about starting drinking at 14? Like, how do you think that came about, and where did that go from there? Do you think it was 'cause of skating?
No, I mean, before, just like I grew up as a younger brother. My brother's like 2 years older than me, and like he'd have parties at the house and my parents would go away, and it's just trying to fit in and be cool with like your older peers, like just. And I was always a pretty wild kid. I don't know. I was just like, oh, it's fucking badass. Like, I'm gonna get fucked up. Just little kid shit, like, mentality of trying to impress older kids. And then getting in the tour van, there's all these like older skaters. It's like kind of amplifies it for sure. And yeah.
When was the first time that you got in the tour van?
It was probably 14 or 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a crazy age.
Yeah. That was the first trip I ever went on. Was a company for it was called 16 Skateboards. It was all kids under 16. It was out of California. It was like what the fuck is it? Climax Distribution. It was like Orion Trucks, Neighborhood Skateboards. So that was like my first trip, which I wasn't really drinking on that. But Zoo Van was like, yeah, probably like 15 or 16 was my first trip.
What did your parents think about you being like on the skate trip? Like, it's not normal for a 15-year-old kid to start traveling and shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, my first trip, my parents were still together, so they flew out with me. And then they flew back. I think they were obviously a little nervous. And then my parents had split up after that. So I went with my mother, talked to her to let me do homeschool, and then was traveling. So it was kind of like she was down. I'm sure she was nervous, but yeah, I don't know. It was kind of weird. I think just because my parents were separated, it was like they kind of had their own shit going on. And I grew up outside riding four-wheelers when I was like 3 or 4, like kind of just like grew up on a little fishing pond and like, yeah, I don't know. I kind of grew up doing some stupid shit when I was young, like not, like I had bad parents, but just not always really supervised and kind of with my older brother taking care of me.
Yeah. Do they think that you were like gonna have a career out of this? Because some parents will just be like, yo, like have your fun, but you still need to follow like a real career, like go to college and all that kind of stuff. Or even you, like, did you think that where was this even gonna go at that age?
I didn't really think like just from hearing people, like I knew I was good, and I felt like like looking at other people, I was like, all right, like I'm good, but I never really thought that far ahead. I kind of just in the moment like loved it so much and just kind of just hit like just did it. Parents, I think my mom definitely like believed in me. I'm not saying my dad didn't, but like he was more of the hockey. Like I started playing hockey when I was 3. I played for like 13 years, was like good at hockey. He was definitely pretty bummed when I quit to like skate. Like I was on the high school team. I remember telling my coach like, oh, I'm going to Tampa Am, like I'm not going to be able to play. He was fucking pissed. Like, what? You better win a bunch of money. And I'm like, it's not about that. But like, and then I just quit playing hockey. Because I did just like the structure of it was just kind of like the mentality. I was like, I'm kind of good with that. Once skating and being at the park and just kind of doing what you wanted to do felt a lot better to me.
Yeah, I mean, you tell a coach that you're going to skate a skateboard contest that's called Tampa Am, like, they don't know what that is.
No, hell no.
Or the scope of, like, that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's, like, glory to just be in that spot that you can even skate Tampa Am.
Yeah.
Never mind win.
At that time, too, like, skating was so still, like, not on the radar, Like, look at it now. It's like, oh, yeah, the kids, like, now parents are probably like, you should be a pro skater one day, Billy. Like, it wasn't like that. It was, you guys know that. Like, it's just different.
When did it occur to you that you could actually have like a full-on career of skating?
Probably like around like mid-20s. I started getting paid good, shoe sponsor, like DVS, Zoo. I was getting paid a lot of money, and I was like, okay, this is like real. Like I'm good with this.
Before that, like, did you have any thoughts on it or any plans, or just like I'm just going with the flow?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be pro. Like once you get to that level, you're am, and you're looking at magazines and watching all the videos. Like you definitely want to be, but there was never any real like. I was kind of just always battling myself, like shit that I knew I like or wanted to do. Like yeah, just in competition with myself.
How do you think money coming into the equation changes the thing of skating? Because like something I've thought a lot about is like for example, like being sponsored for Monster or Red Bull, or even like when Nikes were becoming more popular, like Nike SB, even that, like I knew kids who like wouldn't skate them, where now that's unheard of. Like Nike's fully accepted. They've also done a lot for like the skate community, but like for example, the story of like the Red Bull shit in the hat, it's like pretty much no skater that I know would ever rock a Red Bull hat unless they were getting paid for it. Yeah. Like a Red Bull fitted is not going to happen.
No.
Monster hoodie, no way. Like
wristband.
Monster sticker on your board, like that's not the sticker you want. And, of course, like after a certain point with like money, it's just like you have to eat and you got to take care of yourself. Like you've dedicated your life to skating. How has making money in skating changed the nature of it for you, or has it at all?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like at the time, the Red Bull thing was like, I was really close with Danny Supa, and he was one of the first ones on Red Bull. So I looked up to him. He was doing it. He's like, yo, they want to put you on. So I was like, oh, for sure. Like, I'm down. You're doing it? Like, I'm down. Um, yeah, the hat thing was the only thing that bugged me out. I mean, getting more money just gives you more opportunity to do more shit. And then, like, if you have your own kind of, path and, like, want to show other people, like, you don't have to be a complete cornball. Like, you can still do your thing. I think it's just some people that don't know what they're doing, and they're kind of just like, will do whatever a company tells them to do, is when it gets a little, different. If that makes sense.
How is it when you're under contract with a behemoth company like Red Bull?
In which way? Like, just demanding like
what do they? Because I don't know nothing about that. Like, what do they demand? What do they tell you? Like, you have to heel flip over this rail and like by this date, this spot for this.
No,
ad.
not necessarily. Kind of just it's more about just product placement, contests, shit like that. Just getting their logo out there.
Yeah, because we've talked to like a few artists on the show where they, from an outsider's perspective, they completely love what they do. You know what I mean? They have galleries like every month, and like they really put in like a lot of energy and passion into their work. But then we go and ask them like, how is it? Like, how much time do you spend on like what you love to do? And they're like, oh, like I haven't loved art in so long already, because like all I have is these art critics pressuring me to do deadlines and commissions, and like they're like, I just push this out in order to pay the bills, and you're like, damn, that kind of sucks, because you're waiting for like a really deep answer, being like, yeah, I stay up all night, like really really loving what I do, and then it comes to a point where a lot of careers turn into kind of a hassle in a way.
I feel like that's a little bit different, just with like being a sponsor rather than like a gallery. Like, that's kind of the whole thing. But it wasn't demanding like that. It definitely didn't make me like not appreciate or love skating any different. It was kind of the same. Like, I wouldn't let a company really bring me down that much, or you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, they were shit like they wanted me to do, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, no way. And they're like, well, like, I don't know, like threatened to kick me off a bunch of times. I'm like, whatever, like do it. Like, I'm not gonna do some dumb shit. Like,
was there ever a point where you felt like when you're skating, not even for Red Bull, but just for like a company, there's like difference between like skating for yourself, say you go to the park just to like mess around and have fun, versus skating for like there's like this purpose, there's like, we have a video we're making, or do you ever feel like there's a difference in that when you're skating just mentally?
Yeah, for sure. Just more stressful. You just put a lot more stress on yourself, and then definitely get hurt easier. You're kind of forcing shit, which I don't like to do at all, especially the older I get. I'm like, if it doesn't feel right, I'm not going to do it. And it's like, yeah, I probably could. Like, you got it. It's like, yeah, I probably could, but like, it doesn't feel right, and I don't want to. I'm good. Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely a different mental. You're on a trip with like 10, 12 dudes, and you're trying this trick for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's like you got like 14 of them sitting down, like waiting for you to land your trick. It's like, it's definitely a little straining mentally, for sure. Most of the time, they don't really care, because they're like, fuck, I'm not stressing skating. I'm just sitting here, like, chilling, watching, and, like, they're, like, stress-free. Like, keep going.
I honestly, like, I hate filming. Because sometimes, like, even if it's not on some Red Bull shit, it'll just be, like, homie skating. Like, let's say I'm getting filmed, and I'm like, yo, I literally just hate skating. I just want to sit down like everyone else is doing. Yeah. And if I land it, I'm just like, yo, finally I get to sit down. Yeah. Like, just the relief of getting able to sit the fuck down, which I could have been doing from the start. And not have, like, I was thinking, like, yo, skaters are some of the only people who regularly have mental breakdowns on the side of the sidewalk. Yep. Like, serious, like, even in the, like, Carrie Getz in the DVS video, flipping, like, mental breakdowns. I'm watching that when I'm, like, 12, and I'm like, yo, that's sick. Like, I can't wait to have my mental breakdown on the side of the street.
It's real. It's like, you can do some shit. It's like you're just battling, like, mental, physical battle. It's like your body's getting fucked up, and you're getting weaker, but you don't want to fucking stop. It's like...
Do you worry about injury in terms of just like your, even outside of skating, just like being able to walk, like some like James Brockman, on Zero, like out in California, like his knee is just cooked. Like
Really?
he has no more whatever inside of his knee. Do you ever worry about shit like that, especially since like skating is not just your career, it's like your life?
Yeah. I definitely don't really think about it. I just kind of, I think, goes more to like if something feels off, I won't do it. But when I'm skating, I'm not really, I'm not thinking of getting hurt. But yeah, I obviously think about it. The older I get, the more healthy I try to be. And like, yeah, it just goes to like know your limits. And like, I feel great right now. Like, I feel good. Like, I don't know.
You have no
I feel
pains?
good. No, I'm good.
What do you do in terms of like any habits that you've changed as the years have gone on?
Just on and off drinking. I'll stop for a few months at a time, drink fucking tons of water, stretch a lot more, just be active, sit-ups, pull-ups, ride my bike a lot.
Was there ever a point with so you've like you said you've been like drinking on and off for a while. Are you at the point where you're like really just trying to cut it, or like is it more of just a part of your life that sometimes it's in, sometimes it's out?
Sometimes it's in, sometimes it's out. I feel like it's more of like a boredom thing. Like if I could get to a space where I'm like constantly busy doing something I love to do, I probably wouldn't drink. It's kind of more of like a time killer, which is, I know it. And sometimes I just want to like let loose and have some beers with my buddies. You know what I mean? So it's like hard to like, never going to drink again. It's like, I don't know. You're at someone's wedding, and you know what I mean. It's like kind of hard to put limits, but yeah, I don't know. I try not to overthink it and just like feel it out, whatever.
Do you feel like it's something that you want to eradicate, or not really?
I mean, sometimes, sometimes I do. Like I don't know. I go back and forth.
Yeah. Do you think like early on in your career it's like hindered some experiences or like maybe connections or like if you haven't drank, do you think it would have been like a straight shot to where you are now, or like do you think those ups and downs in life are like necessary in a way to have like experience and stuff?
Yeah, I've never really thought about that. Yeah, definitely. It's, I don't know, good to fuck up and be down and then climb back up. It's like life lessons, and that shit sticks with you. Like, definitely, it's not, you don't know, going back, I don't know, I wouldn't really do anything different, I don't think.
What are some of the downsides to being a professional skater?
Fuck, I mean, traveling's great. It gets old, though. Like, I've been traveling since I was 15. I'm 37. It's like going home and just, like, having, like, it's hard. I have don't have much structure. So it's like, you get comfortable in one place, and then you're, like, you're out. You get comfortable there, and then you got to leave. It's like, that shit wears on me, for sure. But yeah, kind of just like what's next, like the anxiety about like what's next, how long can I do this, like am I gonna film another part, am I gonna just anxiety thinking about that type of shit can be straining sometimes.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's like in the industry, especially now, is like changing so much.
Yeah,
it's like what's cool today might not be cool tomorrow, which is like everything in skating. Yeah. It's like what's cool.
Definitely.
In terms of like the traveling and stuff, so what's your daily routine usually like then?
Daily routine right now, I'm kind of like all over the place. I've been back and forth to the Cape. I talked about you earlier. I've been kind of looking for an apartment here. I don't have an apartment here right now.
In New York?
Yeah, in New York. I just went through like a long-term relationship breakup, so I'm kind of trying to like figure some shit out and kind of regather thoughts and just, I was thinking about going to Miami and living there, and then I was like, I got to be in New York. So I'm kind of like figuring some shit out right now. So daily routine is kind of different every day, depending on where I'm at.
Meaning where you're at, like physically, like where you're literally
like I'm
at.
Here right now. Like I might wake up like I might be on the Cape tomorrow, or I might be on a skate trip. It's hard to really have a routine. I at least just try to get up at a decent time, have some coffee, fucking go for a walk, get a little inspiration. I don't really have a routine, which is something I'd love to have. Like, for real.
Yo, that's crazy, man, because I feel like that's what gives a lot of people peace. Like for me, and I know for him, it's like what we do, like if the day doesn't start out in the routine that we've set, it's like the day hasn't started right. Like everything's fucked up after that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that, or is it you've been so long living in this like vicious cycle type of thing that like it feels normal?
I mean, I wouldn't say it feels normal. I'm used to it, but definitely ready to kind of have more of a solid routine the older I get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's pretty funny because sometimes I feel the opposite because my days are so routined most of the time, from working like a 9 to 5 or like going early in the morning to the gym, like trying to keep that structure always. I'm like, I truly enjoy my life when it's truly spontaneous and like I don't have like my day's planned by the hour. You know what I mean? So it's like when you're in that moment, you appreciate one side, and when you're in the other, it's like
exactly.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's trying to balance everything, I think, and you know, it's not an easy thing to do.
So why do you feel like you have to be in New York?
I don't know. I just feel like all my friends are here. It's close to where I grew up. It's like, I don't know. I love it here.
When you first came here, you came here at 18, right?
Yeah, I started coming when I was like 15, 16.
Or then you
and
moved
I moved
here?
when I was 18, yeah.
What was your initial living situation like? Like, where was it? What was the room like? And
It was actually, who was it? It was me, I want to say Billy Rohan and Brian Brown. We like talked Zoo York into getting us an apartment. So it was on Fulton and Broadway in downtown Manhattan. And it was like right after the World Trade Center went down. So it was just like all memorial, like downtown was dead. It was still white powder and shit all over the place. And that's when and the apartment had no fucking windows. So we were kind of like skating all night. We come home, smoke weed, ended up getting a pool table. So that's where the name Vicious Cycle came from. Like, we never knew what time of the day it was because we had no windows. And we'd just come back late at night or early in the morning. And it just became this, like, crazy, like, nobody knew what time it was. And that was the first spot.
wow.
It was fucking sick.
No windows, dude?
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
There was a glass door all the way in the back. It was like a railroad. And then it had 3 bedrooms, like, off to the side. And there was, like, a glass door at the end of it. But it was in a dark alleyway.
So Zoo York paid for this crib.
Yeah.
And you were 18 with like 2-3 other skaters, just pretty much like living your life.
Yeah.
At the time, were you working a job or you were already getting like skate checks?
No, I was skating. Like, I didn't work since I was probably like 15. Like, I used to dig clams on the Cape and dig clams. I did a little bit of like HVAC work with like my uncle. But yeah, I started getting paid skating probably when I was like 17 or something.
So from there, from living in like the Vicious Cycle crib, where'd you go from there? Like, did you move out of New York or did you just get a new crib in New York?
No, from there I went to by the Holland Tunnel entrance on Hudson Street.
Okay.
Hudson and Canal. It's like a little one block behind that, Renwick Street. Vinny Ponte's parents owned a bunch of buildings and he hooked me up with an apartment. So it was a little was it a studio? It was a studio, 5th floor studio right across from, remember Sway? Sway was like Morrissey Night Sway. It's on Spring Street. Either way, that was my second apartment.
And then, so how different was it? How different was the New York back then? Right after the World Trade Center, even just the skate scene. How different was that?
I mean, I wasn't here much before it, so it's kind of hard to say, I just it was sick skating downtown. It was just empty and yeah.
What do you see the main differences like from then until now?
I mean, there's just so many more skaters now. Like before, you'd hear skaters go by and you'd look and you'd know who it was for sure. Now it's like a lot of people never want to come here. They'd come through New York on a trip, but now it's like you got everybody moving here to be in New York. Where before, I feel like it was kind of slept on. It was like California is the spot to be, and now it's like a lot of people are moving here. That's definitely one of the main differences.
You don't want to leave anytime soon?
Like go to California
or just even like the Cape. I like a lot of the people who we've spoken to, they love New York, and they've been here for mad long. They have a lot of positives here, but like something in them like just wants to.
It's a lot different. I mean, it has changed. It's a lot different, but I don't know. I just need a little bit of craziness in my life. So I think back and forth, the Cape, New York, it's a good kind of balance.
What's your life like in the Cape?
Pretty chill. My father has a copper company, so he does like a bunch of copper work, like gutters, and it's all like on pretty big, expensive houses. My brother works for him as well, so just to stay busy, I've been working with him 5 days a week, out in the cold on the roofs, fucking bending, measuring copper, going back and installing it. So that's what it's been like the last 5 months or so. Between skate trips.
And you've been doing that pretty much willingly?
Yeah, just to stay busy. I'm like, I need to be physical and hands-on with stuff. I was kind of just like losing my shit. Just needed some sort of structure, like I was saying earlier.
It's pretty crazy, man. Like working that when you're like when you like have money from skateboarding.
Yeah.
That's like something that I feel like people would just not want to do.
Yeah, I mean, some people look like, my dad's like, oh, well, my brother's kind of like, you good? You still skating for people? Like they thought I was kind of lying, I think, at first. And I don't know. I need to be busy, and it's cool to like spend time with my brother and be around my family and shit.
So how often do you go there?
I've been there for the last 5 months, like leaving for skate trips here and there, and I came here probably like a month or two ago. I was in Miami for a month. But yeah, I've been there.
So recently, if you're not on a skate trip, you're like probably there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. I feel like it's really good to just have like hit that reset because New York is it's a pretty crazy place, and a lot of the times like that shit does catch up to you, even if you're not partaking in anything crazy. Just like the amount of noise is bugged out. Like I go away to like Massachusetts, and then when I'm there, it's just like totally
peaceful.
Different. Like even just being inside of a crib that like I don't hear a car drive past the window. It's like it like does something to your mind. You can actually
think straight and think things through, and
and also it's pretty sick to have like that self-analysis, you know, like to actually like be like, damn, I'm like kind of like not withering away, but like just being stagnant, or like I need to change something up, and actually doing it. That's the thing, you know what I mean? Because it's one thing to like be like, oh, I should start, you know, like I should go back to Cape and like work and like be hands-on because it'll clear my head. And then it's another to just like stay and just kind of like, you know, not realize that as time went on, you should have done that already. You know what I mean? So it's pretty sick.
It's kind of like, do I rush and just get another apartment and I'm just here, like same thing? And reset button, like you said, reset, kind of like step back, look at things, rethink everything, and just kind of build from there.
And especially after like a long-term, like you said, relationship, it's good to like kind of focus on something else, because I noticed that at work, because like I do plumbing, and when I'm in the zone, like when we're like really in the guts of our work, like I realize I don't think about anything. It's almost like I'm just zoning out, and you have no choice but to focus on what's going on. So it's kind of sick to have that, you know.
Exactly. I overthink too much, so like I couldn't imagine just sitting thinking about everything. Like I just drive myself crazy. So exactly what you said, like I'm working, I don't think about shit, I'm fucking doing stuff. Like feels good.
Have you ever gotten over skating, like to the point where sometimes you feel like you don't even love it anymore?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe not love it, but just not skating to like where I think I should be skating, and kind of get depressed about it. But never not love it. But yeah, I've had my ups and downs for sure.
Yeah, to like bring it back to graffiti, like we've talked to writers where, you know, they've been writing for like 4 decades, for example. Like this dude Sen4, and we're just like, yo, like how can you do this for so long? Because like currently he's still like doing his thing, and we're just like, yo, do you love it still? Have you been over it? He's like, yeah, like all the time. It's like just ups and downs. Like I hate it, and then I come back to it, and it just depends on like the situation he has going on in life, to where like it's priority in his life, you know. So
especially what he does is pretty like sticks to his own script and does kind of the same thing, like, you know.
The same thing over and over. And
you would
over
think it's just like repetitive, but
like so many times. But maybe it becomes one of those things where it's like, dude, if there's like 3 hydrants that I don't have, that's a problem.
It's like you do so much, there's only a little left, so you got to get that too.
And if I better not see anyone doing my type of shit. Dude, like he'll like go out with like a black to buff that shit, and then a lighter color to hit it again. So anyone who's not Sen4, if you're on a hydrant, like
you're getting buffed.
You're getting buffed. That's so funny. Because like he was saying, dude, like when I was like skating way more, in my mind, like if you not even quit, but like if you skate less than you did before, you're like whack. And I know like when people are younger, like that's what a lot of people think. But then as like time has passed, I see like even just like I look at it and I'm like, damn, dude, like all the kids I used to skate with, like a lot of them barely ever skate anymore. But then there's like heads like you or like just like long-term pro, like Reynolds, Jim Greco's, like that have been skating for so long, and like you can straight up see that they still love it. Like in like Greco's footage, like you can see he's straight up being creative. Like even if it's the same spot, he's doing like his own style, like following his own wave, or like I feel like Reynolds like getting on Vans, it like revamped shit.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Now I'm just as hyped, like, and it's respectable. It's like a Kes 5. Like, how are you still doing this? You know, and it's like, you just been doing it for so long that I like had to ask, like, do you just get over skating? Because everything that I love, like, there's a point where I'm like, all right, I'm kind of getting over this.
Yeah, I mean, not really. It's like kind of never ending, you know? It's like there's always new spots being built. There's always new tricks to learn. It's like never ending. So it's like, it's always a new feeling, like getting that new feeling again. It's like the fucking drug. You just want to like get that feeling again.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on like social media and, you know, skaters getting like notoriety quicker than they should, or like being numb to great tricks, or like, because I always mention graffiti because it's so relatable. You know what I mean? Like now, you know, before you would have to put in years and years and years on the streets to be respected and recognized. But now with Instagram, like you could do a piece, and like there's so many interviews where graffiti writers talk about this, like how you could just do a piece in your backyard and get a, you know, like it posted in some magazine or some website, and like you're the man now, you know, and like you didn't put in those years. So like, what are your thoughts on social media and like skateboarding and all that stuff?
I mean, I have mixed feelings. Like it's like, you know, you're the man, but like who are you the man to? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like there's different audience. Like the knowers know, you know, and like, you know, people will get notoriety. I think like the quicker you come in, the quicker you go out. Yeah, it's a trip. Like I've seen, you know, a bunch of dudes, like they'll go pro without even a video part. And it's, you know, it bugged me for a bit, and then kind of had to step back, and it's the times we're in, and it's like, I just don't pay attention to shit. I don't want to, that makes me feel like and get mad. Like I just don't pay attention to it. There's so much good shit out there. It's like, I'd rather just pay attention to that. But yeah, it's a trip. I mean, it's unstoppable. There's nothing like any one of us can single-handedly do to stop it. So it's like, it is what it is. And I had older cats when I was younger, like we used to have to like, it's just evolution. It's just the way it fucking goes. And just try to stay in my lane and fucking, you know, look and support the shit that I'm into.
What do you think about skating's direction in terms of the Olympics and just mainstream? Like there's billboards now that show skateboarding where like that wouldn't have been the case like years back and stuff. Yeah. Does that trip you out? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it trips me out, but like I just said before, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't even know what to think, you know? It's like, I'm not like, oh, that's fucking whack. Like, there's shit that I think's whack, but I'm not going to like go out and say how whack something is and bring in more attention to it. It's just like, it's a waste of my breath, and yeah, pay attention to the cool shit, and yeah, that's where I'm at.
What's your relationship with social media in terms of like, how often are you on it and like on your day to day?
I've set like a 20-minute timer like a year and a half ago. So when that thing goes off, I put it away.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes I'll get stuck in the rabbit hole and look at my phone. I'm like, holy shit, that was like an hour. That's fucked. But I'm not really on it too much. I'll post my shit. I'll check out my friend's stuff. Yeah, there's definitely a time where I was sucked into it and like getting bummed on shit and like, but that was. Yeah, not anymore. Yeah,
20-minute timer is pretty crazy because, I don't know, you can get like notifications saying that you're on it for like 4 or 6 hours, and you're like, what? Like, today doesn't feel different than any other day. Yeah. When was I on it for that long?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's crazy that you actually are like on top of that.
Yeah, it just pops up, and I'm like, oh shit, and I just put it away. Maybe I'll pick it up a little bit later or something, but like I just cut myself off.
How did you get into shooting photos?
Just I think traveling a lot and coming home from trips and people being like, so what, like, and I just like wouldn't remember shit or like kind of yeah, I mean I had friends too, like people I looked up to that shot photos. I think it was mostly memory and just traveling. Like I'd come home, my family would be like, oh, like what'd you do, like da-da-da. So then I'd start shooting photos just to remember shit kind of.
What was the first camera setup you had, and how did you approach it like, oh, I'm going to be a photographer, or was it on some just natural, organic, I have this point and shoot type of thing?
It was like point and shoot. I don't know what my first camera was. It was probably like what was it? It was definitely probably just like, I don't remember the first one, like a film point and shoot or something, like little disposables for like a few trips, and then Etnies sent me this like little Nikon point and shoot that I actually still have. I kind of like found it a few months ago and kind of been shooting with it again. Yeah, that was just point and shoot. It wasn't like trying to be artsy dude, and then slowly just got more and more into it.
You're still like fully immersed?
Yeah, definitely haven't been shooting nearly as much as I want, but yeah, I have a bunch of cameras and flashes, and yeah.
When you're in the Cape, do you shoot photos?
Sometimes, yeah.
What do you shoot photos of? I haven't really like been there, but what I imagine is like sea and like.
Yeah, I'll shoot fucking scenes and stuff. I've been doing kind of like messing around. So when I get the printer going again, like little collages of just like, I actually did an insole for a colorway I had for Converse. It was like New York City mixed with like Cape Cod. It was like little ocean beach scene, and then there's like the building sticking up with the bridge. I just shoot stuff to kind of make collages with. Like I'm not shooting like, I'll still shoot regular photos, portraits, whatever. But I'm kind of just trying to get all these different whatever looks interesting to me and have it kind of in a, have it stored. So then when I'm trying to make collages, I can just kind of pull all these different things that I like, colorful things or fucking weird looking shit, and just kind of print a bunch of them out at once. And then it's just kind of like puzzle piece and just come up with some shit.
I saw like the collage you did a while ago. It was like about opioids in America.
Okay, yeah.
And it was just like pills coming out of like a nuclear power plant, but the pills were like smoke. The nuclear power plant was also some sort of.
Yeah, well, it was started as like, cause it was the opioid crisis, and it started as like from like the lesser painkillers, and then it went to the higher ones, and then it was the heroin needles, and then like the Suboxone and shit to get you off of it was like the blast through the two towers.
It's pretty cool, man. Like doing the collages specifically when you have shot the photos yourselves.
Yeah.
Because collages, I feel like they're not so common, but like when they are done, a lot of the times they're done with images that are found.
Yeah.
Where as opposed to like images, when you're shooting these photos, like do you think of them as like this one will be used for a future collage?
Yeah, I mean majority, like unless I'm shooting like some landscape shit just to shoot like a photograph. Yeah, majority it's something that catches my eye. Not like I'm definitely going to use it, but this could fit with something else, And then when I'm thinking of ideas, I'll just scroll through photos. One will pop out. I'll print that one out first, and then I'll kind of just color or shape or something. I'll scroll through. Something else sticks out. I'll print that one and kind of build off of like one. So just to have like a library full of stuff that I'm into is kind of the point. Like they're shot to be used, but not saying that they're all going to get used,
Do you shoot, is it like digital mainly?
Yeah, for that type of stuff, yeah.
And you just do you make prints out of most of your work when you're actually trying to like do something with it, or?
Prints as far as like after I do the collage, like make a print of the collage.
Yeah.
I haven't really yet, no.
Oh, for real? Mm-mm. In my mind, like for some reason, because I saw the.
Actually, I did a one wheat paste. It was like a bunch of priority mail stickers. It's probably, I don't know, it's yay tall, and it's like a little kid standing with his board. So like each priority mail sticker, it's like got a little piece of the kid's head, and I just printed them the whole body, and then I shot a photo of that, so it'd be a single wheat paste to like paste up.
So then you learned Photoshop too?
Somewhat, yeah. Like I've done a couple boards for Alzheimer's, and I did some Habitat boards, and like iPad shit. It's a lot easier, I feel like.
Well, you do Photoshop on the iPad?
On the iPad, yeah. So yeah, it's Photoshop, yeah.
And then you just learned it through YouTube?
Pretty much, yeah.
That's pretty cool, man. How has it been, just like the whole Alzheimer's thing compared to all the other companies that you've been on in the past?
It's definitely refreshing. Dudes are rad that own it, Price and Rob. The team's super cool. It's a lot of younger dudes that's inspiring, It's like I'm the older dude now. It's pretty trippy, like going from the little dude in the van. So it's been awesome. They're cool. They support, whatever we're into doing, and they do fun stuff. People receive it well, and yeah, it's great.
How long have they been a company for?
Probably 5 or 6 years.
So not that long.
Not very long, no.
But they're pretty well known, well respected.
I feel like, yeah.
How many do they have? A lot of American riders?
They have a handful. It kind of started with a few of the dude Price's friends that were Canadian, and then slowly built up.
Yeah, I think that company represents themselves pretty well. I really like their videos.
Right.
It's really refreshing to see like videos from them, videos from Palace, videos like where they're like approaching it in their own way. Because now with Instagram, with all the skating that you see, it's like I could see the sickest trick, and I don't really care that much anymore. Yeah. It's like more so about like stylistic approach, like how they're doing it. Very similar to like Graph, and like kind of like the death of the full length video in like its importance in it, like how it used to be. Well, full length is everything. Like I watch the DVS video a million times if I finally get that physical copy. Now it's like, so it's cool, like with the resurgence of that with these types of companies, like I really respect it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to hear.
Do you like do any editing for them or anything?
No editing.
So when you film it, it's just like whatever happens.
Yeah. Film. The other owner, Rob, does a lot of the editing. Yeah.
What do you have your hands in now in terms of like art?
Meaning like.
Just like, are you like, so you were doing like Paper Skaters, you're shooting a lot of photos, or you were telling me that you're like not shooting as much photos now, and then same thing with Paper Skaters. Is there anything that you do that like people don't really know of, or like what you have your hands in now?
Not really. Definitely don't want to talk about ideas, but yeah, kind of that's what I've been kind of doing and trying to get back to. Nothing, I don't think anything different. Shooting photos, little collage stuff, fucking around trying to learn how to paint certain background textures, and yeah.
Oh, you're doing like what, oil painting?
Yeah, I'm just trying to like create backgrounds. I want to do, like mixed media type of stuff. Like just kind of, I have images in my head that I'm trying to like learn how to create. So yeah, just fucking with paint a little bit, and yeah, just trial and error type shit.
Sick, man. Yeah. Anything else you want to say? If not, we're gonna.
No, thanks for having me.
Dude, thank you so much for coming, bro.
Seriously, dude. Thank you, man.
Dope. Yeah.
You're not even on some weird shit. I've been watching you skate for so long. Like in like I was like mentioning DVS Skate More when you skated to the Wizard.
Yeah.
And it was like you skating to the Wizard, as well as in circa its time, John Ali skating to a gypsy woman. Then I was like, yo, Black Sabbath, Ozzy Osbourne is the shit.
Yeah.
From those two videos, I started getting into Black Sabbath, which like led me down like a whole rabbit hole. So
that's crazy. Like music, like skate videos got me into music. Like, yeah.
No, absolutely.
It's a trip.
That's where I found everything. Or like that website, like Skate Video Sound or like Soundtrack.
Okay.
It tells you it tells you the name and then the song.
What they skated to.
Yeah. And I would just download on like LimeWire all of their fucking everythings. Yeah. So, dude,
that's sick.
It was an honor for us here. Thank you so much, bro.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Peace.